everyone, it's NonnaGrace, and I'm going to share with you another part of the Greystone Manor. Oh, where am I from? Oh, yeah. He asked me where I was from. He does the sign for we.
Well,
but that's okay, because where is like this, and he does we. We are from...
I'm thinking W.
W, where?
Well,
Yeah, he's thinking W, but it's we. Well, I'm from Western New York. Somebody wanted to have you sign something and me translate it, but I don't know if I understood what he was saying. But he didn't do it right.
I'm not good like you are.
Yeah, I'm not good either.
I can read what you're signing, but I can't reproduce it very well.
It's like a language when people can understand Spanish, but they can't speak it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't think of the words that go. But when somebody else is talking to them, they understand it.
Yep.
Same thing with English. A lot of people maybe understand what we're saying, but they don't know how to say it or speak it or spell it. I don't spell very good either when I'm doing the Spanish, the dojo, whatever it's called. I think it's dojo.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. It's a free program that I try, and I don't do so good. I know what they said, but I can't spell it the way it's supposed to be spelled. Well, let's go to that little video of the Greystone Manor. I had to do voiceover because this part, the sound was completely lost. And then when I was doing it, the video stopped and I had to start it again. And then I realized there was no sound in the rest of it, so I had to do it again. Oh, God grief, it's not fun to do voiceovers. For those of you that have done them, you do very good. I'm still learning. I'm learning a lot of stuff, actually. Well, let's just go to that video and you can see. When we were at the Greystone Manor, we were noticing there was a lot of mannequins around. So there was a mannequin there with a mustache. So Mr. McStache stood next to the mannequin with the mustache, and we were to decide which one had the better mustache. Well, we all agreed it was Mr. McStache's mustache was the better mustache. He's going to fix it because he wants to make sure it's flat and it's curled. He's got an oil can hairy mustache. It's really a very nice. His beard is a lot longer too. The other one looked really fake. His does not look fake. Then I was showing you the staircase, or actually the girl again by the staircase. And I was showing you this. I will show you the staircase, how curved it is. And I had to actually hang onto the railing because with a curved staircase, it really makes you feel like you're getting dizzy. Now we're trying to decide who's going to go first. And Mrs. McStache says to go first because I've got the camera. So up the stairs I go into the little sitting room that's at the top of the stairs. I'm showing you that there's tons of pictures on the wall and another deer head. Somebody must have been a hunter in that place at one time because they've got an awful lot of dead animals around that are mounted. Now I'm taking you into my bedroom, the room that we stayed in. This one has a lot of mannequins on the dresser, and I was opening the shutter to show Mrs. McStache that in the morning there was a spider in the corner, but now the spider is gone, and there's a horse down below. They used to have a horse farm at one time, so there was a lot of horses. They really liked their horses. Now, Mrs. McStache was showing me her meter. They're going to connect my iPad to the Wi-Fi because I couldn't seem to get it to connect, so they're going to try. And Mrs. McStache is doing the code to see if she can do it. And the first few tries, it didn't work. So they checked their phones where they took a picture of the Wi-Fi code to make sure that they had it correct. Then they went over to the dresser because it must have been over there. So they checked it to make sure that it was correct. And yes, it's correct. And so they came back and she did it again. And this time it worked. So I was able to get into the Wi-Fi, but I didn't really use the Wi-Fi. I put it on airplane mode later and found that the program works, but I don't have to deal with any of the ads that go with it. We're going to leave the room in a second. That's too bad the sound went out because there was so much that was going on. Right there is where I was trying to see the list, and I kept doing the wrong thing to go back. And I wanted to say Angela. Oh my goodness. Mrs. McStache. She did it so that it would go back. We're walking back into the sitting room. There's Mr. McStache looking at his phone. And there's a lady at the end of the hall. She's waiting for the bathroom, Mr. McStache said. I doubt that that's what she's waiting for. But then we went into the kids' room, which has a lot of dolls. And there was a monkey in the corner. Another stuffed something. But that one didn't look as real as the others that were there. We're looking around the room and we see there's a baby doll on the bed, and I used to call that kind of doll the Big Mama doll. And Angela is taking a picture of it. There's also some babies on the upper shelf, upper bunk, so she's taking a picture of that. Then I noticed that there was a poem or something written on the wall. And then on the blackboard there was another one. It was a prayer. Now I lay me down to rest at the gray stone. Something or other. It was really odd. You're going to see a cup hanging, and I thought it was a telephone, but it wasn't. It was to detect if ghosts are there. What happens is I guess the ghosts can move those, and they are very light. And if the ghost was in the room, the cup would be moving. Well, now we're going to go into a bathroom. I always show you bathrooms. Yesterday we saw the downstairs bathroom. Today we're going to see the upstairs bathroom. They have a big claw tub in the bathroom. It's a good soaker tub. And in the corner they had a shower. So that's the bathroom upstairs. Now we're going to go back down the hall. And we're going to go into the room that I was supposed to stay in, but the bed was so high I decided I did not want to stay in that room. That bed, I'm going to stand next to it, and you're going to see how tall the bed really is compared to me. There was also an armored guy in the corner. There I am standing by the bed. Now Mr. McStache wants to give me a lift, which is crazy. They have stools in there that if you wanted to get up on the bed, but getting out in the morning would be difficult. I'm looking for the penny that rolled the other night when we put the money on the stand. And when I did that, I said there was a lot more money there yesterday. We all put our money there because what you do is you put the money there so that the spirits won't bother you. Well, when I turned and looked, I saw that they had moved the money. When I looked on the dresser, I noticed the money was there. They had moved the money. Well, I have to do this section all over again because I didn't realize the sound wasn't working again. And Angela went over to the closet and she noticed that it was just a closet. This was a really nice room. It had a lot of space in it, had a fireplace in it. Now I'm going to go over to that cat. There's another cat that's stuffed. It's not a very pretty cat. And I looked at the back to see if it had a tail or not. I believe it's a bobcat. It's rather homely looking. It's telling us it wants us to go down, so we're going to go down in a few minutes. We're going to have to go over to Mr. and Mrs. McStache's room first. I went over to the cat one more time, and when I looked up, I realized I'm in the mirror. And I said, "Oh, hi there." And then I moved on. We went across the hall to Mr. and Mrs. McStache's room. When we got there, we noticed that they had this huge headboard. It was all wood. It's carved wood. It's really pretty. And they said that they had horses in their room. So I guess the horses were in the lamp above the bed. There's horses around the edge. There's horses on the dresser. And there's a headless jockey there on the corner. There's so many mannequins in that place that it's rather eerie feeling because of the mannequins. Then we came over to this wheelchair that was in the corner, and I remember saying that it looks like the same wheelchair that they used in the Heidi movie, where Heidi was teaching the girl how to walk. It's an old-fashioned wheelchair. I can imagine it probably was very uncomfortable. Then I went over to the table and I saw this picture there, and it was like of two ladies. And I said, this looks like the way that pictures used to be when my mom used to get her picture taken with her sisters. Then I went over and saw Mr. and Mrs. McStache's water cup. There's Mr. McStache, there's Mrs. McStache. They have stickers that are just like the cups. Then I went over to the dresser and I saw the spirits of alcohol on there. And as we're getting ready to leave, I said to Angela, don't you think we ought to shut that door? So she closed the door. And her thing said thirsty. And I said, thirsty? Why are they thirsty? And she said, it was probably because I showed them the whiskey that's on the dresser. And I thought it was because I showed them their water bottles or water glasses. The Mr. and Mrs. McStache water. Here I'm checking out the word list of the words that were said on my iPad. And once again, I will try to go back to the actual thing. And once again, I pushed on the wrong side. And Angela comes to my rescue and she puts it back to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to scooch it back and try. Nope, it's not working. Why isn't it working? And she goes, you have to push this one over here. I hope you enjoyed the video that I put in there with the Greystone Manor and with Mr. and Mrs. McStache. And I kept trying to not say Mrs. McStache's actual name, but it just seems like it comes out real easy. So I actually reverted to that instead of staying Mrs. McStache after.
Not what you want to hear. We're sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if they didn't know her name, they do now.
Yeah.
And if she didn't want it known, I'm sorry. It's now known. Just like my name. My name is actually Mary Grace, and people try to cut it short, and I say, no, it's Mary Grace together. I'm not just Mary. You can call me Nonna, but you don't call me Mary. So that's why I put it NonnaGrace, like I'm the grandma. I am grandma for my grandkids. Well, take care, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.